What is going on, guys? Johnny and Will here from HXC Wrestling Talk Show. We were a few hours removed from night one of two nights of WrestleMania 36. We're here for the weigh-in and the review of last night and talking about a few things probably we're going to be expecting tonight. First and foremost, WrestleMania was absolutely incredible last night. I mean, I know everything going on within, the health and safety of others is definitely, top priorities in the business right now. But honestly, every match last night felt like they were out there, performing in front of 70,000 people. I mean, you can kind of of course, it was apparent that the arena was empty, but the way that the matches were actually played out, it was just, it was like WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It was WrestleMania. I mean, there's no way to take that away from it. It was really cool to see that. We had a few surprises throughout the night. We'll get into everything. First off, we started off with a introduction to WrestleMania from Stephanie McMahon, which was really nice because she kind of just reminded what WWE is all about, taking your mind off of what's going on within whatever situation you're dealing with and just entertaining you. And that was a really cool moment that, kind of welcome you into WrestleMania, welcome you into this very different WrestleMania. And she emphasized how different this WrestleMania was, and she did not, definitely did not lie to us when she said that. And then we moved into the promo package, and you could kind of tell, a lot of people's been talking about this, but you could kind of tell at the beginning that the promo package that, basically is to introduce WrestleMania was, probably the one from Tampa Bay, Florida. But they did this little part with Johnny Depp, who was actually doing a voiceover of the introduction. They paused it and they stopped it, and they were like, wait, back it up, and then it would back up, and it would be like a whole new intro. And it was kind of just, showing how unpredictable this night was actually going to be. And it was kind of like a welcome you into something that's going to be definitely different than any other WrestleMania you may have watched in the past, which is a really cool thing because, with everything going on, like I said, it's cool to see something kind of taking you away from that, that situation and everything. But before that, we had a introduction to the national anthem. It was kind of like a collage of a lot of music artists that's performed at WrestleMania in the past. We had people like Aretha Franklin, John Legend, Willie Nelson. They were kind of playing a lot of those old clips back, and they were collaging them for each sentence of or each verse of the song. For the national anthem was kind of faded into another version from another single that performed at WrestleMania, which was really cool because we know WrestleMania always has the national anthem before it starts. And then we started WrestleMania. It was the empty arena. It was really nicely done. I mean, the stage was, the Performance Center stage that we've been seeing for a few weeks now. But the way that they had the WrestleMania sign in the background behind the commentators thing, it really made the arena feel a little bit bigger. And we talked about that the other day. Yeah. When we talked about how they could possibly do something to make the arena feel bigger. They did that with the WrestleMania stage or the sign in the background. It felt bigger for some reason. I don't know why, it just did. But we started off with Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, and Asuka and Kairi Sane for the women's tag team championships. I think it was SmackDown. It might have been Raw. I can't remember exactly. That was a good match. I mean, it was a different match. It was the introduction. First time seeing WrestleMania with no audience, so it was a little kind of time to get used to the way that pacing was going. But I really liked the back and forth fight between them, and it ended in Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross becoming the new women's tag team champions, beating Kairi Sane and Asuka for them. And arguably Nikki Cross had her WrestleMania moment last night. She outlasted so many onslaughts given from Kairi Sane and Asuka that I was surprised, honestly. It was a great match, so I enjoyed it, and it kind of set the stage for what we were going to see. Next match we had was Baron Corbin versus Elias. That match, I get the circumstances of how what rivalry they've been having. When you've seen Corbin throw him off the top of the rafter the other night on SmackDown. So we definitely got the history from that. It just wasn't really that entertaining of a match. I mean, yeah, it was an okay match. It was like it started out with a brawl. Corbin came out and he was saying he was going to win by default because Elias wasn't going to show up because he was badly injured. Elias comes out, he bashes him in the head with a guitar. They start brawling outside of the ring. They get in the ring. The match starts, and it was just kind of a very lackluster match. You're just like, yeah, it could have been more. It was okay, but I wasn't really invested in it. I don't know. It was just one of those weird matches. Like you would think that maybe that match would be more kind of up there. And at this point, I start to lose like the pacing of like what matches took place next. But I want to talk about the Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch match for the Raw Women's Championship. My God, they finally did it. They finally gave Shayna Baszler vulnerability, and a realistic vulnerability at that. Because we talked about it, last time we were, I guess touching on Shayna Baszler with the Elimination Chamber fiasco, that she was kind of like this unstoppable, dominant force that was kind of like the female Brock Lesnar, which I wasn't a big fan of. And last night we seen that completely thrown out the window. It was like, she was definitely a dominant force starting out in the match. It was back and forth, left and right hooks, and it was like real MMA style and everything. But as the match kind of went on, Becky started getting the upper hand. There was one spot that they pulled off on the outside of the ring, like towards the side of the apron, where Becky Lynch picked up Shayna and like slammed her on her back. And that was when I started showing, I started seeing the real signs of Shayna have a weakness, And she got some good hits on Becky. I mean, they went that outside spot where she kind of like picked her up and slammed her into the side. Yeah. Of the announce table. I mean, those things, it was good. It was a great match, and it ended up being Becky Lynch retaining the championship, which shocked everybody. Honestly, shocked me because, I mean, at the point I was walking into the match thinking I was going to hate it because I was hoping that Shayna Baszler wasn't just going to come out there and just do a complete squash match. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But as the match kind of went on, I had this weird feeling. I'm like, okay, I can actually see her as a champion now because they're giving her that vulnerability that I wanted her to have from the start. I've never been a fan of a champion that's dominant. You know what I mean? I've always been a fan of a fighting champion, meaning that they go out there, they defend it with everything that they have. They don't have that much left when the when the match is over with.
They actually put on a match.
Exactly.
It
wasn't a squash match.
When it's a squash match at that point, it's like couple seconds, they knock them out with one move and it's done.
Yeah.
I'd rather see a fight that actually is a fight, not just something that's, let's go back to like Brock Lesnar and Spike Dudley. I mean, that some match that. Good God. I mean, don't get me wrong, I knew it was coming. I mean, you knew him against him. And that's the kind of matches I don't like, is ones that they're going to lose. They don't stand a chance. I mean, now, get me wrong, we have a lot of the people that could stand up with the big ones now more today than we did back then, but still,
we're definitely going to get into that in a minute. I mean, definitely going to get into that one in a minute. But yeah, I mean, the match was good. Like Will said, that I'm not a big fan of squash matches, just like he's not. So the fact that we kind of had that really good WrestleMania match, it just kind of felt good because like they said it at the start of WrestleMania. Forget everything that you know about WrestleMania, throw it out the window. I mean, they were right. I mean, honestly, everything that we know about WrestleMania's had its squash matches in the past. I mean, there's been a bunch, especially with this new era. But with last night, it felt like, I may get hate for this. I don't really give a damn. It felt like the Ruthless Aggression era last night.
Yeah.
It really did. And I'm not saying the fact of the booking, but the storylines and the aggressiveness within the Superstars. I think if you would have done a drinking game last night, for every time you heard bitch, you'd be on your ass. I'm serious. Like, bitch was thrown around like it was nothing last night. Like, I mean, it was just a really, attitude-filled WrestleMania, which was great because I knew that this WrestleMania was going to have a lot of, really great rivalries going into it, the big match feels, and every single one of them, by God, they delivered. Next match we got into, we had a triple threat match for the tag team championships, for the SmackDown tag team championships. Single competitors representing each of their team, which was a little bit different, but it was actually really, really well done. It was a ladder match, too. It was John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and Jimmy Uso. And, woo! They tore it down. They tore the house down. Honestly, they did. I mean, that match was incredible. The way that they did the ladder spots and just, utilizing the empty arena to its advantage of, having ladders everywhere, it just felt like a brawl. You know what I mean? It felt like a fight. And It was a great match. John Morrison ended up walking away, still the tag team champion, him and Miz. Miz, unfortunately, was not able to compete in that match. He felt ill before the taping of WrestleMania. We do know this was pre-taped, of course. But it was still a great match. It was very entertaining. There was a lot of great spots. Jimmy Uso did a great job. And Kofi Kingston, no shocker, he did a great job as well. Great match. On to the next one, we had a really different match. I wasn't really expecting to be as good as it was. Seth Rollins versus let's back up. Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Great match. One of the best, I would say, storytelling matches of the night. And when I talk about storytelling, I'm not talking about like in-ring promos or whatever. I'm talking about actually understanding the story of the competitors while you're watching a match. And Sami Zayn was pleading. I mean, there was one point he was crying for Daniel Bryan to stop and for him to join them. And it was really like a great storytelling match. It really was. Great back and forth action at the start. And then, Daniel Bryan kind of had his oval movement where he just basically pummeled Sami Zayn to a pulp. There was a spot earlier where Drew Gulak attacked the posse of Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, and they stole the move and everything. They kind of laid out for a lot of the match. Towards the end of it, they came back. They distracted Daniel Bryan for a brief moment. Daniel Bryan was on the top rope. They attacked Drew Gulak. Daniel Bryan jumped off the top rope, and then Sami Zayn delivered that kick, that Hurricanrana kick. I can't know how you exactly say it. And he's still the Intercontinental Champion, so he retained. I'm happy to see Sami Zayn actually getting pushed now. And the storytelling, like I said, during that match was just actually really well done. It was entertaining. I enjoyed it a lot. And then now on to the next match, which was Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. And like I mentioned a while ago before I got ahead of myself, I wasn't expecting to like this match. I love Kevin Owens, but the Seth Rollins Messiah gimmick, I've not really understood it. Thank God the AOP and Buddy Murphy, they weren't out there, and I'm glad Samoa Joe wasn't out there on Kevin Owens' side. It was a one-on-one match, which ended in disqualification, which then got torn into another match with no disqualification, and that's when it really took off. There was a moment where we talked about that WrestleMania sign a while ago, and we kind of knew that it was going to be used as some type of stage prop. We just didn't know how, because you can't overlook anything now with wrestling and see something out plays like, wait, this might be used later on. It was. Kevin Owens climbed the top of the freaking sign
and jumps
off, delivering a flying elbow to Seth Rollins below on the announce table. Seth Rollins was rolling around sounding like a dying goat. Which was hilarious. I laughed so hard when Seth Rollins was selling that move. He was like wheezing and he couldn't breathe. It was just absolutely
that
incredible.
Part right there. I was able to see that one, but
yeah.
It's crazy to see Kevin Owens doing stuff like this, because he used to be the type. Remember when he was on top of what was it, the Hell in a Cell, and he was sitting there acting like he was scared to jump.
Yeah.
But now it's like coming second nature to him. He's starting to do more and more of it.
Well, I think that was a part of his heel run, if I'm not mistaken. Because I know back in NXT when he fought like Sami Zayn in that Loud match and stuff, he's always been really comfortable in doing like high stakes spots and stuff. But I think that was his heel run that you were talking about.
It's crazy to see him actually starting to do like some of the stuff when he was on Raw and he jumped off the Titron onto the out there on the AOP and all them.
Yeah, exactly. But when he jumped on the WrestleMania logo, I knew that something was going to happen. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a big spot, and it ended up being a big spot. Kevin Owens ended up winning. And I was happy. I was finally happy to see him win against Seth Rollins. This is probably going to have a rivalry carrying on through Money in the Bank, more than likely. Yeah. But for right now, Kevin Owens stood on top, and he actually won, and I was very happy. And then on to the second to last match of the night, we had Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Now, Braun Strowman was replaced for Roman Reigns because of Roman Reigns' health. Everyone knows he was battling cancer, what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. His immune system's not the best. They didn't feel like it was appropriate for him to be out dealing with these circumstances with him, having a low immune system. So he was ultimately taken out of the match, which was a sad thing to see. But we were replaced with Braun Strowman, which ended up being a great match. When Goldberg came out and Braun Strowman came out, I felt like, oh, here we go. Braun Strowman's going to lose, Goldberg's going to win, they're going to carry on the belt, whatever. That's not what happened. Braun Strowman got like 4 spears delivered to him. He sold them really well. He got right back up and delivered like 4 body slams, including 1 running orientation of the body slam to Goldberg. He got the 1, 2, 3. He is now the new Universal Champion. I never thought we would be sitting here saying that Braun Strowman beat Goldberg for the Universal title.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. Like they said, throw everything out the window. Like everything we thought booking-wise was going to make sense was out the window last night. Braun Strowman is now the Universal Champion.
So
great.
Now where do they go from here?
I mean, I feel like they're going to have Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. Ultimately, I believe Braun Strowman is going to lose to Roman Reigns. He's going to drop the belt. But even if that does happen, I'm just happy that Braun Strowman actually got a WrestleMania moment and is now a champion. A major champion of that.
Somebody finally took it from Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Goldberg, outstanding performer. I'm not going to take that from him. But recently, in these past couple of years, they have been pushing just too much. I mean, I wish, the people always talked about Stone Cold and everything else. It's like they're taking the spotlight away from the younger ones, and now they've got Goldberg keep reappearing.
Yeah.
And it's,
And that's something that, like, I kind of wanted to not see. I didn't want to see Goldberg walk out. I knew that Roman Reigns was probably going to beat him either way because, Vince has always been wanting this Spiel versus Spiel match.
Yeah.
Which he's probably going to get later on. But, for right now, the time's not right. But the time of Braun Strowman being a champion is right now. And I think it's going to work really well. I mean, everyone, of course, there's no fans. We can't see a feedback live. But all the fans online and everything kind of weighing in on everything, they're happy that Braun Strowman is now a champion. They were happy that it was kind of out of nowhere that he became champion. One thing that I really did not like, though, is how lazy WWE did kind of put that match together, though. They didn't really mention anything about Roman Reigns other than that he was being replaced. That's all they said. And I understand they're trying to take your mind away from the circumstances of everything that's going on and all that, but still, give us some kind of like promo package leading up that maybe could have built up Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. I mean, you could have done some like crazy moments from Goldberg from WCW, from Braun Strowman back when he first debuted in Monday Night Raw when he had that feud against Brock Lesnar. I mean, you could have like played those clips. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Something to make it see
why
of all people that's in the WWE, why him?
Why Braun Strowman? Exactly. Why did you pick him to replace Roman Reigns?
Instead of just throwing him into a match and we don't know why you don't. I mean, we know that it's because Roman Reigns had to be replaced. But of all people to replace Roman Reigns, why Braun Strowman if you don't know the backstory to it?
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what I kind of like. I didn't really like too much because, WrestleMania has always been good for those really great build-ups and promos to matches. We didn't get that for one of the biggest titles in the company, which is the Universal Championship. I mean, next to the World Heavyweight Championship, this is the biggest championship in the company.
Yeah.
So just for it not to have a promo, I was like, that was so weird. You know what I mean? Because we're not used to that. We're not used to, which again, we're not used to these times we're living in either. So, I mean, either way, I still wish they would have done something to give it a little bit more substance. But, either way, Braun Strowman's now the champion. I'm happy. And now we get to move on to the match of the night. And I'm going to tell you right now that my favorite WrestleMania match in history, out of all the WrestleMania matches I've ever watched, this was my favorite WrestleMania match, favorite Undertaker match, favorite whatever moment you want to call this, that damn Boneyard match. My God. That Boneyard match was absolutely incredible. It was like watching a freaking movie. My wife was sitting there watching it with me. She's like, "Oh, you watching the movie?" I'm like, "No, I'm watching wrestling." I thought it was a movie. She thought it was a movie. She don't even watch wrestling like we do, and she thought it was a movie. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about how it got started, right? The horse comes out. And we hear Undertaker's theme song playing in the background. It's so ominous. There's fog everywhere. It's like a old cemetery type setting. And you're sitting there thinking that it's going to be Undertaker coming up in this horse. And 2 droids get out. I think that's what you kind of can call them, I guess. I mean, they pull the coffin out, open it up, and it's AJ Styles. And he starts laughing. He's like, he's having fun. His theme song starts playing in the background. How the hell theme songs were playing in the background, I don't know, but I'm not even going to question it because it was so epic. But he's running around. He's like all happy and excited and stuff. And it was really funny because it's like that before and then after. We'll talk about the after in a minute. But and then we hear a motorcycle coming. And then AJ's like, "Oh, I hear him. He's here. I hear him." And then they pan away to a long stretch of like road, and Undertaker's hauling ass to the boneyard, and Metallica songs playing. I can't remember the name of the freaking song that was playing, but it was a Metallica song. It's one of their new ones off of their new album. It wasn't Atlas Rise. It was none of those. It was something, I forgot what it was. What was it? I don't know. I'll think about it. Maybe hear it in a minute. Undertaker gets there, and it's an all-out, brawl. It's a fight within this cemetery. There was a lot of cool spots. There was like one part where Undertaker like slams his hand into the horse door, like the window. He cuts his hand, and he's like, "Well, son of a bitch!" Like, it was just those really cheesy action movie moments that were really funny, But it was so entertaining. AJ Styles goes back and forth. He starts going over on Undertaker. There was one point where Undertaker gets thrown in the hole. He's about to be buried alive. AJ gets on top of the tractor, and then out of nowhere, Undertaker just pops up behind him in a beam of light, just standing behind him, and they start brawling again. I may be like completely out of whack in order right now. The OC comes out. They get jumped basically by a bunch of Undertaker gets jumped by a bunch of droids. There was one moment where Undertaker comes out, and he's standing in front of like there's like a shed. There's a bunch of white beam lights, and a bunch of droids come out. They surround the Undertaker. Undertaker has like this cinematic shot to him. He's like, "Well, if you want to do this, let's do this." And then he just starts pummeling every single one of the droids out there. It was just really cool. There was a top of the freaking shed moment where he throws Luke Harper off the top of the freaking thing somewhere. I don't even know where he went. And then he tombstone power drives Carl Anderson on the top too. Or not Luke Harper. I'm forgetting his name again. The OC. What was it? Carl Anderson?
Is
it Eric Young?
No,
it's not Eric Young. Who is? I don't even know who it is. I don't know. I'm so excited about this match. I'm not even thinking about it now. Anyway, he threw one off the top of the thing.
Luke Gallows.
Yeah, Luke Gallows. There you go.
Yeah,
he threw Luke Gallows off the top of the shed, and he tombstone power drive Carl Anderson on the top of the shed, and then choke slammed AJ Styles off the top of the shed into a bunch of wood at the bottom. And it was really cool. It was just really cool. There was like a moment when he gets AJ Styles up, and he starts like dragging him over to the hole. AJ's like, "Please don't bury me, please don't bury me," which of course source for several metaphors in wrestling. And Undertaker, like, he lifts his head up. He's like, "I'm not going to bury you, son. You put up a hell of a fight. Come here." And he gives him a hug. And he leaves AJ Styles there. And he walks away, and then Undertaker has this look in his eye. He turns back and looks at me. And he big boots him straight to the face and knocks him in the hole. Undertaker gets on top of the tractor, and he buries AJ Styles alive. The end of the match showed AJ Styles' hand sticking up from the door. Just, you see his glove. Oh, it was so great. It was just, oh my God, it was so amazing. We're going to watch it after this because Will didn't watch it. Will didn't get to watch this match, and I hate that he didn't get to watch this match. But it was a great match. It was a great night. I mean, WrestleMania was a really good WrestleMania. Night one of 2 nights. I'm excited to see the Firefly Funhouse with John Cena and The Fiend tonight because they're saying that it's going to have that cinematic element just like the Boneyard match had. I'm sorry, but if it's anything like the Boneyard match, this is going to be the best WrestleMania of history. And I don't care what anyone says. Honestly, I don't care what anyone says. This is going to be the best WrestleMania of all time.
Seeing it is messed up in a sense because of what you've described so far. Reminds me so much back of with Undertaker versus AJ Styles. It reminds me of everything you just said that AJ Styles done is the same thing we seen with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
He come out there dressed up as the Undertaker.
Yeah. See, the thing about it is, like, I've been hearing a lot of this speculation, like, oh, you need to thank Matt Hardy for this and Ultimate Deletion and all this bullshit. Let me tell you right now, no one's going to give a damn about the Ultimate Deletion after this Boneyard match. No. When they refer to an outside of the ring match like this, they're going to be like the Boneyard match was.
Yeah.
Not like how Matt Hardy. I mean, all respect to Matt Hardy and all his his broken gimmick. All respect. TNA, all respect. But from now on, since last night, people are going to be referring to the Boneyard match as the best out of the ring match that WWE's probably ever had. Hell, even any wrestling promotions ever had. I mean, there's been people that's diehard Undertaker fans that said this was Undertaker's best match. His best match outside of the ring was this. I mean, you think about back to the 80s, or was it the 80s or the 90s, with Mankind and Undertaker with the Boiler Room match.
Yeah.
Had nothing on this. had nothing on this. And yeah, that was great. That was cinematic. That was amazingly well done for the time it was. But for this Boneyard match to just captivate the essence and the storyline of The Undertaker and bring it to life in a new level, stand up. We're doing this right. We're clapping. I know you ain't seen it, but you're going to see it in a little bit. And you'll be clapping. You'll be cheering. You're going to be screaming from the top of your fucking lungs. Because that was a damn good match. And I'm going to tell you right now, and like I said, all respect to Matt Hardy, all respect to TNA, whatever you want to throw the ultimate deletion in this question, the Boneyard match, it had everything that a match like that should have had. It had. Honestly, everything. It had pyro. It had Undertaker's logo coming in a laser being formed up on the top of the shed after the match was over with. Undertaker gets on his bike, he throws his hands up, flames shoot out from the top of the shed. It was so epic. And we're going to get off of here so he can watch this match. But this is the forced review of Night 1 of WrestleMania 36. And my God, I'm excited for tonight. 7 o'clock, it comes on again on the WWE Network. I think it comes on Fox, FS1. It comes on pay-per-view if you want to buy it. Night 1 is over. Night 2 is just tonight. So excited to see that. My name is Johnny.
My name is Will.
We're about to go watch this match for Will. This is HXC Wrestling Talk Show. We will see you guys later.